To our talk segment this morning, President Bola Tinubu has declared a nationwide security emergency following a rise in kidnapping, insurgency, and violent attacks across several states. In his address, he expressed sympathy for victims and honored security personnel who have lost their lives while defending the country. As part of emergency response, the president ordered the recruitment of 50,000 new police officers and authorized the use of NYSC orientation camps as temporary training centers to speed up deployment. He also directed that police officers serving in VIP protection be withdrawn, retrained, and sent to high-risk areas to strengthen frontline security. Now, President Bola Tinubu further instructed the intelligence agency to expand the deployment of forest guard to dismantle criminal hideouts in Nigeria. Joining us via Zoom for this conversation is security consultant Darlington Umoru. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us on TVC Breakfast Saturday.
Good morning. It's a sunny Saturday, and it's my pleasure being here once again.
Absolutely. Glad to have you on the show. The Inspector General of Police disclosed that 11,566 officers have been withdrawn from VIPs. There are many formations within the police that do assign policemen and women to private individuals, the Special Protection Unit, the Force Headquarters, missions, commands, and various commands into this deployment. Don't you think there should be an audit to know the exact number and to see compliance to President Tinubu's directive at the moment?
When you say an audit to know the exact number, I don't know. I'm not sure all of them in the SP units have returned. Because I've seen some protests, particularly politicians in the National Assembly saying that they will be open to bandits, if all of their security aids are withdrawn. It's not the first time we are hearing or seeing situations like this where the police IG would be asking all of them in the SPU to return to barracks and then be redeployed to other places. We've seen that in most times when new Inspector General of Police are appointed. The first pronouncements they make is to ask that all of them in the SPU should return. But how often have they complied? How often? The one before this one, we saw situations where even the members of the National Assembly did state categorically challenging the IGP that their men would not return because they are playing fundamental roles, in their lives and in their family. Away from that, compliance now. Yes, this Egbetokun has said that about 11,000 have returned, and we have also seen situations where some of the police officers are complaining that they've been redeployed to very dangerous places. Why are you a policeman? At this point in time in our security, particularly when Mr. President has declared a state of emergency on security, we need every security officer, men and women, to have put their hands on deck, so that we'll be able to, if not achieve entirely without politicizing the whole thing, at least let's achieve to some extent. How many do we have before now in terms of the numerical strength of the Nigerian police? How many were they up until now when Mr. President has opted or listened to us? We have often cried out to say we need more men in the security, we need more men in the military. If you see what the bandits or terrorists are doing, the terrorists and bandits are not, I'm not sure they are more in men than what we have in the Nigerian police and, well, let's say the security agents and the military put together. But each time they are going to launch an attack, they go in numbers to make sure that they outnumber the security personnel that will be available at those places where they are going to, even if they are not going to hit the security agents. We have seen that. And so let us replicate all of that. We need more men in the Nigerian police. Oftentimes, those recruited every year do not actually replace the number of policemen that are either killed or maimed, that will not be active in service. And then you have a chunk of them guarding VIPs, VVIPs, and then reducing the number that is supposed to police the society, police crimes, monitor activities in town, and all of that. And so, two things coming at the same time are in the right direction. We need more men. Yes, recruit more. Yes, withdraw those who are policing these VVIPs. Let them go for. The president did not just say they should withdraw the police protection personnel. He also opened up another angle and said they should go for the what do you call them now, NSCDC. To replace the police in carrying out the role of the special protection unit, personnel.
Okay. Morning, Mr. Darlington. It's good to have you here. So now my question now just takes you back a little bit, just for clarity's sake and for reason of some of the viewers watching who don't necessarily understand to the full extent what it means when the president declares a state of nationwide security emergency. Can you please explain to us what that actually implies? And then what are the steps that needs to be taken by several security operatives, also citizens as well, to ensure that the security emergency declared is effective?
Well, what that means is that ordinarily, when you declare a state of emergency on security, in a place, particularly, except that Mr. President has declared that in the entire country. Otherwise, the governance architecture would have been changed. If you were declaring that on a few states, it meant that perhaps those who are in leadership would have stepped aside, allow security agents to take over, and then carry out pure security roles. Now, it meant that in the country, we have basic and fundamental security challenges. And so government is giving priority attention, or government will be giving priority attention to security matters. And that is why, for instance, you have Mr. President calling for all of them in the SPE units to return and then withdraw them from merely policing a few VIPs of VVIPs and sending them to police more people in the society, and then beyond all of that, Mr. President and his cabinet will be giving priority to them, providing fundamentals for them, and having his ears and listening to the commanders and hearing and holding meetings with them, knowing what to do, when to provide equipment and all of that, monitor situations and see how all of that can help the situation. Focus is entirely, almost not entirely, now its focus is almost entirely on security or insecurity, if you like, whichever way you want to see it from. So what we have now is that the federal government is showing more concern, perhaps maybe because of the interest of America and the agreement. Of course, don't forget that a committee left this country to hold meetings with officials of the American government to give a current situation and what the government is doing to, taking charge of her own security in Nigeria. And then America, they've reached an agreement in terms of how they would be assisting Nigeria as against what Donald Trump dropped on his social media handle that sparked off some flames.
Mr. Umoru, it's good that we're recruiting 50,000 police officers in Nigeria, but how can we get rid of these terrorists, bandits, bedeviling Nigeria? We're still talking about negotiating with some of these people. Where lies intelligence? Where lies technology where we can use to crush these people and make Nigeria safe for Nigerians?
I take it from the last question. Crush these people, yes, it's easy to say, but it's not cheap to achieve. If you saw in the last 1 month, in between the last few weeks, The terrorists, well, particularly ISWAP committed a heinous crime. They killed a brigadier general of the Nigerian army. You also saw situations where the bandits also are kidnapping in mass children, from boarding houses, from schools. Why are they doing all of this? Now, if you wish to crush them with the equipment you have, like I have said, one Tucano, one super Tucano is good enough to crush the bandits and the Turkey called terrorists in Sambisa forest. But what have they succeeded in doing? Taking children, using them as human shield, and then stopping you from crushing them. You cannot go level where they are without causing collateral damages, destroying these children or those they have taken in captivity. So it's easy to crush them. It's easy to know where they are. One of the challenges the security agents and the military have had over time in crushing these persons when things happen. It's not as if they cannot locate through intel where these persons are. They swing into action. They are able to find them out, and then what they do is to, surround them and make sure they do not move beyond where they are, and gradually either talk with them to release the children or have all of them or have them crushed. But if you chose to just go in and crush them, I tell you, all of those children or persons they have taken in captivity would be killed, because they'll be using them first as shield, in the course of doing all of that. And of course, America will not take it lightly with you, and other international organizations that are watchers will come heavily on the Nigerian military. We have had that in the past, and people like us, Darlington, have been out to quickly defend the Nigerian military. There are no wars where you don't have casualties, but how minimal those casualties are or become is what is most important, where people consider. And so the Nigerian government is particularly, I don't know, let me not speak for the Nigerian government. The Nigerian military is particularly concerned about this rules of engagement. There's what is called rules of engagement, in the course of carrying out all of this attack on these criminals,
okay.
The terrorists here.
Mr. Umoru, we'll take a break at the moment. When we come back, there are many questions that you need to answer this morning. Is negotiation the way out of this quagmire bedeviling the country? When are we going to see more arrests of these bandits? Join us after this break.